We're talking to musician and artist Mark Southerland today. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us about the Charlotte Street Awards show that's coming out?
Yes, it's this coming Friday, November 14th, at the Copagan stage in the new H&R Block building down in the Power and Light District. It's at 8 p.m. and it's celebrating three artists in our community, performing artists, Ron McGee, Deanna Hyatt, and myself. And we'll all each do a performance as part of the ceremony.
Are you performing together, or is it three performances?
Three separate performances, although Ron McGee's and I's will dovetail, but they're three separate performances.
And your performance piece is part of a larger series that you're working on called the Urban Noise Camp. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, generally I'm a jazz musician and a horn sculptor. And as part of that, in my improv, I wanted to take it further out, to use the vernacular. And to do that, I started having people perform in costumes and with tiny instruments, and also incorporating my horn sculptures, where people would wear horn sculptures that I would perform on. And all this was to change the perception of not only the audience, but also change the perception of the performers, adding something, hopefully, to how we would improvise music. So adding even another layer to that, I wanted to develop an installation, an art installation that, on a human scale, that we, as we snuffers, could walk amongst, and that I could put on different sort of rituals or passion plays amidst this installation of, well, generally the installation is tent-like sculptures and a lot of sort of psychedelic disco lighting.
Like we have in the background here.
Yes, this is my mock setup where I practice and try to get the installation to look the way I want it to, and then we'll have also sort of like acclimation ceremonies where people will come through and you know, try on costumes, and we'll perform in it, and you know, like a rehearsal of sorts, but a little broader than that.
You mentioned Snuff. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, Snuff is truly just the performative version of snuff jazz. Snuff jazz is a long time project of mine that involves a sort of a coalition of jazz musicians that like to do deep improv, or you know, totally, you know, sort of heavy improv music. And the Snuff is particularly a few members that are sort of key to it. Jeff Harshbarger, Ashley Miller, and in that we get costumed and play these tiny instruments. But you start to think it's going to be sort of a novelty act, but we're actually playing really, like, when it's working correctly, really heavy avant-garde jazz. Where this has progressed to is now I'm putting on what I consider sort of an occult moon passion play inside this tent sculpture village with all these musicians and other performers. It's taken on another level where before I was mainly using all these other elements, the installation or the costuming or the horn sculptures, to sort of change the perception the audience or the musician was having about the music. And now I would say I've expanded that to where I'm really trying to also tell another story or add actual entire other layers to the musical performance. Again, ultimately, hopefully, folding back to change the way the music is perceived, including I have actual songs I've written about the moon that are actually sort of charming and childlike, but then we twist them all up by the end of it.
So the horn sculptures, how do they fit into the installation?
Well, the way I've asked the performers to view it is when they're wearing a horn sculpture, they are a sculpture wearing a sculpture inside of another installation sculpture. So you get all these sort of layers built up of sort of painting with people, using people as a sculptural element. The horns are another element, and then they're walking amongst this installation piece, and hopefully all of that, becomes sort of transformative, like that you can really sort of take somebody to some other place by having these sort of worlds and within worlds and layers within layers.